Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa.
And I'm Jessica.
Hey guys.
Hey, hey.
Hey Jessica.
Hey, Alyssa, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy that we are recording.
Yes, same.
We took a break. We took a break from recording even though we were still dropping episodes over the holiday season. We took a break because we did batch recording,
Hmm.
just so we could have some time. But it's good. This is like you said, it's like therapy. I get excited
Yes, yes.
when I'm
We
able to do it.
enter we enter the portal of this of miracles, the portal of miracles. Because time passes by so fast when we're
Yeah, it
talking.
does. It does. But the podcast allows us to like sit down and reflect and think about the time that just between the recordings or just everyday things that happen and like are meaningful. It literally like keep expecting miracles. You're able to look for little small miracles.
Hmm.
That's what I am doing now that we've started the podcast. Like I see things as miracles now, like everyday things. I see them as miracles. They can be small things or big things. One of the things I noticed, so Alina, for some reason, Florida, I never knew this. They have their daycares have breaks. Like I'm paying for a full month of daycare because she's still only 3 years old, but I'm paying for a
Yeah.
full month of daycare. But they were off. The daycare was closed for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. I asked other people. I'm like, is that normal? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's not how it is in Phoenix, where we used to live. Like,
Hmm.
are y'all gonna prorate me? I think I already said this.
Right.
I don't even know. But I'm like,
I've never heard of that because people still have to work. Like the
people still
schools are
have to
off for
work.
2 weeks, but your child is in daycare because they can't go to school.
And I wonder if it's because they have VPK there. Maybe,
Mm.
but I don't that doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that they just made up their own rules and
I mean,
go by
I
their
am
own.
happy that the teachers and everybody were able to get breaks, but
Yeah. Because then the next
so
question is, are
Alina
you
was
out for summer
home.
too? Hmm.
No, they're not out for. I don't know if they're out for summer because when we started, I don't think they're out for summer. It's a daycare; they still need to operate,
Right, exactly.
but I think they just do an alternative. They do things that are not with the curriculum. I don't know, girl. I don't know. Anyways, no,
Hmm.
we're getting off topic already. Let's stay focused, stay on topic. But one of the miracles that I noticed, even though I'm complaining that she was out for 2 weeks, one of the miracles is that I could see her moving from like a smaller toddler to a older toddler.
Oh.
Like her attention span is getting longer. Her ability to follow instructions has gotten a lot better. And she just seems like a little older person to me, like a little older. I'm like, oh my gosh, my child, she's listening,
Hmm.
she's sitting down, she's like absorbing things. So I just thought that that was a miracle that I wanted to share. It's kind of
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have a break in the routine that you're normally in. And the kids do change, like as they're in school.
yeah,
They do
yeah,
change
yeah,
while they're away. Even if we see them,
yeah.
even though we see them every day, it is a change.
We both finally saw the movie Wicked.
Hmm.
I've been telling Jessica we need to watch Wicked. We need to watch Wicked. Both of us we're not theater people, so we did not see the Broadway play. We did not read the book. So watching the movie, we watched it for the first time, the whole entire story for the first time. So I guess it's not the whole story because it's a part one and two.
Hmm.
Um, but today's episode is Wicked themed. So all of our segments are gonna have something. It's gonna have something to do with the movie Wicked, and we're both. If you are tuning in on YouTube, you can see that we're both wearing green.
And I got
Well,
my
Jessica's
little pink
she's
over here.
embodying both pink and green,
Yes.
but I am Elphaba all the way today. My
Completely.
glasses, my hair, um, my outfit is the exact color green that she is. So
Hmm.
yes, Team Elphaba, Team Green. But now I know why there's so many theme like OPI. Walk into the nail shop and you see OPI Wicked
Yeah.
themed nail polishes,
Hmm.
like nail polish line. There's so many things, like even going into Walgreens, like everything is wicked, 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 wicked. I mean, they
Yes.
do that anyway for movies, but it was just blown up.
It is. And I was like, before I saw the movie, I was like, what is the deal? What is the big deal?
Mhm.
Like, I don't get it.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, I need all
Yeah.
things green.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes. Yes. Well, we wanted
Yeah.
to the for the I am segment, that segment, if you're new to our show and you're just now tuning in, the I am segment is something that's near and dear to us. It represents our divinity as goddesses. Anything self care, anything self empowering, just topics that are just like the meat of, uh, our foundation and who we are. And it's actually the meat of our show, too. So, I am green. Green can represent so many things. In this movie, it represents evil, um, so-called evil, perceived evil, I want to say.
Yes,
But to
exactly that.
me, when I think about the color green, I think about new leaves, springtime. I think about money.
Hmm.
I think about abundance. I feel
Hmm.
like green is the color of abundance, and maybe yellow too, but green is the color of the forest, the color of trees, leaves, and um even water can be green.
Yeah, yep. When it's full of life, when it's full
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
biodiversity, it's green. I just looked up which chakra is green, and it says the heart chakra is what
Mhm.
is green, represented by green. And there was a lot of love in the movie. Or even you could call it the opposition of love, a lot of hate too.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
have you can't really feel the love without also the hate, the darkness, the balance of the darkness and the light. That was
There
definitely
has to be
present
a
in the
balance.
movie. Yes,
Yes.
but the green
Yeah.
represented for me is like the earth. I know usually earth is brown, but it gives birth to green. And
Mhm.
it's like, just the calming, the life-giving color that it is. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I can say so much about that movie. And about her being
Yeah.
green, which I didn't understand. I didn't understand before. I'm like, why do they
Mhm.
have this person who is green? And also, what's going on with this name? I thought the name
Mhm.
was pretty strange. And I look when Alyssa says that we are not theater people and didn't really know much about the movie, like I didn't know anything about the movie except for Wizard of Oz is just an alternate story. It's just about the Wicked Witch of the West, right? So then I get to the movie theater and they don't say Elphaba. I'm like, who names it Elphaba? That's how like out of zone it was for me. And I'm like, what kind of name is this? They name her, they put this crazy name, like it looks like elephant. They make her green. What's going on? Like of
Yeah.
course you're gonna be wicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so I just like felt so relieved when I heard them say Elphaba. I was like, oh, that's so much better. I love that so much
Alphabet.
better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
even though I had never seen the movie, I have theater people in my family. My dear cousin Lila, she was in theater for most of her schooling. She's seen Wicked on Broadway. So she got a private screening to the movie, and so she had seen the movie before a lot of people before it premiered to the public.
Okay.
And so she's just like, She's like, I was crying in the theater. It's such a great movie. I'm like, didn't you see it on Broadway? She's like, yes, it's such a good movie. I'm like, girl. So because it was a movie about witches and because my cousin had said it was so good, I was like, Jessica, we have to see this movie. We have to. Like, even though I knew it was an origin story, I knew it was, and I am a fan of villains origin stories. I love Maleficent. Like that movie is hands down. We're gonna
Yes.
have to do a whole episode on that movie too,
One of my
because that
favorites too.
movie. Oh, I love Maleficent. And so I was like, if this is an origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West, we have to see it. We have to see where she comes from and why she's green. And so
Yeah.
um yeah, it was there's so many layers. That's why we have this whole episode is going to be dedicated to that because there's so many layers of the movie. You have to watch it multiple times.
Hmm.
Depending on who you are, you relate to it in certain ways and certain characters, and yeah, what stuck out to you,
Yeah. So
Jessica?
many things. I feel like I can write a dissertation. I left and I'm like, I'm
I'm
speechless,
sure
but have so
people
much to say at
have.
the same time.
Girl, I'm sure people have
Yeah.
written whole dissertations on it. I'm sure
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can start from the beginning when okay, well, see, something to know is that I didn't see from the very beginning of the movie. I was late to the movies. Okay. So I caught it from them walking into the school, which I will call it the School of Wizardry and excuse me, wizardry and
It's isn't
witchcraft,
the
you know?
school called Skiz?
Yes.
Skiz.
Yes, it's called Skiz. Yes, that's so
Was is it
funny.
like wizard school or something? Is that where
Uh-huh.
Skiz comes from?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where they're,
I,
you know,
I
they're
feel like
they're
that's an ode to the Wiz.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Skiz.
Probably. I don't know. I
Uh,
wasn't sure if that stuff was if I wasn't sure if that was like the real names that it's always been. I'm not sure what they changed from the Broadway
right.
musical to the movie. But,
Right.
from my beginning, the way that when Elphaba gets angry and how things just go flying and coming out of concrete and just, going crazy, um, I was like, oh, immediately I knew she's just a misunderstood person.
So you
Like there's
came in at
nothing.
the school scene. Okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
When
I
she
was
got
like,
mad.
there's
Okay.
yes, yes. Well, I came in once they were walking into the school and the dad was like, Elphaba, you need to go and help her and make sure that everything's
Oh,
fine. And
yeah.
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 So I immediately noticed the dynamic with the father and with the um with the sister, even though the sister's in a wheelchair. So I'm like, okay, so if her skin could be considered a handicap, he basically has two handicapped children and he's not dealing with it well. And
Yeah.
because, and like that the one in the wheelchair is his precious one, whereas the other one who has a different skin color is not. And I'm like, that sounds like racism to me.
Well,
Um,
that's what is one of the themes. A major theme that you can point out is colorism, racism.
mhm,
I don't think her skin color is a race. Maybe we'll find that out in part
right.
two. But I mean, that is one of the major themes. Is like she's being ostracized because of the color of her skin.
And the way that they looked at her, the way that
Yeah,
the
like
students were looking
the
at
way
her.
that they fear her
Yeah. Hmm.
because of her skin.
Hmm.
That's a whole, black men having to deal with that every single day of their lives.
Hmm.
Not, I mean, black people in general, men and women. Like that is literally a aspect of our lives
Right.
being
Right.
feared.
Hmm.
Okay, like she was also just like I felt like because her skin color was green, it's almost that feeling of. So I went to school with growing up. My parents were, and my dad was in the military, so I've lived in many different states. But for the majority of my life, I went to school around white people. Um, the high school that me and Jessica went to was multicultural, but right before that, I was in school with Black people. But so that feeling is real. It's you when you're the only Black person in a space, i.e., school. You do know, like, I am the only Black person, and everybody knows that I'm the only Black person, because it's that whole scene with everybody as she's walking through the crowd and everybody's looking at her, like, that's a
Yeah.
real feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I'm the only Black person here right now. Let me find
Mhm.
another Black person.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's real. It is real. And even like if it wasn't the color of her skin, like, well, let me not even say that because that's the major part. The major part is historically I saw very parallel, it was a parallel between what happens in real life when someone does have a different color skin, even different features, even different style, because her style was not like anyone else's. She was
Mhm.
definitely like very much in like the dark feminine power of,
Mhm.
who she is. And
Mhm.
then there was the contrast with Glinda, who
Mhm.
is who was this bright, bubbly person, and the moving into the fact that then the movie showed how jealousy portrays itself, how jealousy shows up as kindness, and I'd love to take care of you, but I'm
Right.
also trying to hurt you.
I'm trying to hurt you
you
and I'm
know?
trying to get what you have.
Yes, yes, yes. And let me sabotage you by showing up as being your friend. And we saw that very plainly and clearly with Glinda, right? And I was just, I liked how they had Elphaba deal with that. I did. And
Mhm.
I was wondering, I'm like, is she gonna stand her ground, or like, I didn't know that Glinda was like that.
Well,
And
yeah, it's for as much as she dealt with, as much as Elphaba dealt with, she was very strong in knowing who she was, and it was like she was used to, because she was used to being different and being hated because she was green her entire life.
hmm
She knew how people were going to treat her. She knew how people were going to react towards her, and she's just like, this is who I am.
yeah,
Like, she knew, like, I'm here to study. I'm here to learn what I need to learn. She loved learning. She loved knowledge. And she didn't let anybody take that away from her. She didn't let the fact that she was an outcast steer her focus off of what her purpose was at that school. So I
exactly.
love that. I love that. I love that about her character. She still had a quiet I mean, it wasn't even quiet. She had a strength within her. She was very calm and peaceful. She was very not calculated, but she was intentional with her words and the things that she said, because she was very smart and educated. She did not just speak and let stuff fly out of her mouth.
Hmm
She wasn't easily angered. When she did get angry, it was something that you could tell it was something that she really cared about.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And that's why she
I
couldn't
like that.
control it because it hit her deep. I'm like, I can relate to that where, you as someone who I have I've always suppressed my anger. Um
Mm,
and so it's like once it gets there, it's like you literally feel like your whole body is on fire. It's like I'm about to explode, like things around me. Like I could, man, I could relate to that so much. When all the stuff was flying up, it's like, oh my gosh, I be feeling like I could do that sometimes too because of how intense, how strong
mm,
the feeling gets. Like I'm one huge either magnet or just a ball of energy. Um,
mm.
but
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know. I paused because I'm trying to find the words. Why they had the character like why they had Glinda give her the witch hat, or when Glinda is trying to be nice to her and she's accepting it. Like she takes
Mhm.
that the hat. Oh yeah, my grandmother gave this to me and I'm gonna give it to you because I'm a nice person and you should wear it. And so I'm like, shouldn't Elphaba see straight through this lady? Can't she see straight
Well,
through her?
it's almost like when you do have wounds, when you have a mother and father wound, when you have you've never received love, you'll take anything. Even if you know inside you like this person might have an ulterior motive, you want to be accepted. You want love in some way, you're just going to take it.
Yeah, and that was the saddest thing to me because she goes and she is appreciative so much of her giving her hat and extending her grace and kindness that she's like, that she goes to the professor, which her name escapes me right now,
Yeah, I don't know the professor.
but
Yeah.
she goes to the professor and is like, "Oh, let Glinda train with us." And that's all that Glinda ever wanted, which it's
Well,
great that she did that because it helps it to heal that a little bit.
yeah.
Because Glinda didn't expect that, because Glinda did that out of, malice, like not being kind at all.
Well, no, she did that. It was after she had, remember, it was after she suggested the boy go to the dance with her sister. And her sister
Yes.
was like,
Oh, you're
he is nice.
right.
You see, she suggested that he go out with me. If it wasn't for
You're
Glinda, I would
right.
never know. And she was still, that was another act of insincerity from Glinda. Like, oh, let me just pawn this boy off on this girl in this wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I can get the prince who I really want. And the girl in
Right.
the wheelchair, she was naive, thinking like, oh my gosh, Glinda's so nice. She suggested that I go out with this person. Like, and because her sister was happy being the good person that Elphaba is, she's just like, okay, I guess she can train with us, Professor, because she is doing nice deeds. She is trying to be
Mm.
nice. But yeah, it's that, when you going back to the mother father womb thing, like her origin of, and this is why you have to watch, if you haven't seen the movie, obviously this is a spoiler alert, this whole
Hmm.
episode is, but um you have to go back and watch it multiple times, because so at the beginning of the movie, I did see the beginning. I bought the movie when it came out on streaming, so I have it on my Apple TV. But I heard them. So you see that she was born out because her mother was having an affair with somebody, and they don't show the person's face. So because I knew we were gonna, be talking about this, I went back and prepared, because I was telling Jessica, I was like, they didn't show the person's face in the movie. Like, was the person like a gremlin or something? And I saw, so as I was rewinding, I was like, oh, the mom took something green, like a green thing. Like, she took a bottle that was green and she was drinking it while she was, in the act of having the affair with the man. And then you listen to the sound of the voice, because the person that she's having an affair with sings when he comes into the house. He starts singing, and it's the wizard's voice.
Wow. And
He
that's the part
gives
I
her the green
missed.
elixir. He gives her the green elixir.
I
Like,
wonder what the point of that was.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to reveal it in part 2 or not. If they're going to say that he was that just a drink that, okay, maybe this is a theory. Maybe that was just a potion to make her drunk,
Hmm.
and because he has no real power, he was giving her something else.
Mm. That part, he wasn't aware of what the ramifications were going to be.
He didn't know what it was that he was giving
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And so they made a green
Wow.
baby. They literally made a
Hmm.
green baby from them having sex, right? Because the scene is literally, ah, push out a green baby. Like, she's drinking
What?
this. Like, they don't show them having sex. Like, they show, she's like, drinking the green elixir. Like, in the scene of her having the baby, and the baby
That's too
comes out and it's
funny.
a green baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, But
Wow.
so she literally has a mother father wound of a mother that was deceptive the
Mm-hmm.
entire time she was alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't you just go ahead and tell your husband you had this baby out of wedlock?
Mm-hmm. But you see, now here's another theme, that she ended up passing away. And
Mhm.
that could be the karmic, that it could, that happened karmically because she was living a lie all that time.
She was living a lie. She was living a
Living a
lie. She
lie. And
wasn't
the
truthful
only
at all.
right. And the only reason why I'm able to connect that to the death being something that happened to her karmically because of living a lie is because, in my recent, I don't know, you want to call it research studies, whatever, watching and listening to a lot of these thought leaders, one thing that I realize now is that when you do something good, it's when you send love out, love is repaid back to you. Like
Mhm.
it may be like, I gave this homeless man $1 and now I'm pulled up to the grocery store and there's a parking spot right there at the front that I wanted it to be at. It's not going
Right,
to
right.
be, well, someone's giving me $1 because I gave somebody $1.
Right, right.
So it's like, well, she was living this lie. And so what's going to, what you do, it gives birth to what's going to come back to you. It's just a
Mhm.
cycle. So
Mhm.
what do you get?
Yeah.
You gave birth to a lie. You died in a lie. I don't know.
I
It's really
know.
sad. It's
Well,
it's
and then
a sad
for
story.
her to internalize that, and that was a wound that came out pretty heavy for her in the scene. She was crying, like she blamed herself for her mother's death because
Yeah.
they didn't want to have another baby that came out like her.
Yeah, and you can't blame her for that. If no one has told you
No,
otherwise, like,
absolutely not.
yeah.
Yeah, it to me. That's what I'm saying. Like even though she has a mother and father wound, the father wound is more obvious to me.
Mhm.
Obviously, her father did not accept her. He was very mean and verbally abusive to her, outcasted her, treated her like she was
Mhm.
nothing, just like the help almost. And father's supposed to be loving and protective and somebody who is, covers you and, is the example of the love that you should be getting when you get older from another man. But her mother wound to me is one that is kind of like, it's more to me being just thinking back to some of my therapy days. It's more common, but it's the one that there's like you have to peel back the layers of the onion with. Like, because you don't know, we weren't there when we were all conceived. Some people do have secrets like that in their family. Some
Right.
people mothers do carry deep-seated secrets, even our grandmothers, that affect us. We believe like something is our fault because it's something that somebody else down the line did.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's why that part is like, wow. And you don't realize, like, dang, this is a mother wound that I have.
Yeah.
Like, her mother was deceptive from the beginning, from when she was born, just to keep her family, obviously to keep her marriage. But it's she blamed herself.
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
blamed herself for existing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it was not her fault.
See, and that's what made me so sad about,
Yeah.
you sent me the
Yeah.
video of Ariana Grande talking about how she feels, like how the character is telling the story, and it's like, or how Glinda is telling the story about how she feels like she could have done more, like she's the only one who like really knew her, and maybe and how she played a part in what happened to her. And I'm watching this movie, and until you sent me that, I completely forgot that they celebrated, like the whole Wizard of Oz is celebrating the Wicked Witch is dead.
Well, the
And so
first
I'm
scene of
like,
the
no.
movie, is the song "The Wicked Witch is Dead." It's like
Yeah, I
the
missed that.
people shows a Yellow Brick Road and the people
Hmm.
celebrating, and then it starts with Glinda telling this story. One girl, this is what she's
Wow.
talking about. One girl asked, "Wait, didn't you know her?
Mm.
Wasn't she your friend?"
Hmm.
And so that's when she's just like, "Wait, let me." Thank God somebody's asking me. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was a real person because she kind of has to celebrate with them. Yes, she's dead. Like that's what she's talking about in the interview that I sent you. Like she has to put on this face of yes, the Wicked Witch is dead, but it's just like she carries a sadness because that was her friend and that person did have a story. And she knows, and so I'm glad. So I guess is it that she's telling them this story now? Like, will the
Yeah.
people really know what's happened to her and what type of person that they were all lied to?
Yeah,
She's
that's what it
giving up
seems
her
like.
whole front now.
Mm-hmm.
She's giving
Mm-hmm.
up her whole front. But another thing that I wanted to say is that, think about going back to the whole colorism and race thing is like think about how many mixed race children there are from mothers, like how many grandparents raised black babies from white mothers because their
Yes.
mother had, and then the children blaming themselves for existing because
Mm-hmm.
something that's not their fault, the sins of the
Mm-hmm.
mother,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
quote unquote sins. You see what I'm saying? Like that
Mm-hmm.
whole, that's another dissertation too.
It is. It is. Yeah. I mean, and also, additionally, is the fact that the professor was pretending to be her friend the whole time, right? Or pretending to like see her and like, oh, you're such a great person. Meanwhile, all they want to do was use her, and it just blew me away at the fact that she was the only one that could open up the grimoire. And almost what I called it the mother tongue, like she has the mother tongue because she was able to read and it responded to her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, this is just like, I mean, what you are using someone, which I mean, it reminded me of, slavery. It reminded me of any point in history where someone is exploited
Mm.
because of what they can do.
Mhm.
Like, it reminded me of what the story of the pilgrims coming and, learning from the natives.
Mhm.
Or, it's like, okay, you
Here, let me
have.
align with you and be your friend because I know you have a specific power that I'm gonna need later.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And I'm
Mhm.
also now, oh, okay, you're not gonna you help me more. You're not gonna, do exactly what I say with it. Or well, now I want to kill you. Well, now I gotta hurt you. Now you are the evil one because you're not doing what I need you to do. And it just it
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there
Well, and
was
that's
a
that
lot.
that that there's that mother wound again too, is when somebody takes an interest in you and says, "Hey, let
Hmm.
me let me guide you, lead you, teach you, groom you even." Um because she didn't have the acceptance, the love and the from her mother and father, specifically from her mother, she was persuaded by this lady.
Yeah.
She didn't question, like, I mean, obviously if somebody sees that you have a power and immediately you think that your power is a weakness and somebody's now highlighting you and praising you, encouraging you from that, that's a positive thing. So
Hmm.
somebody, you can call it love bombing. you know when somebody's love bombing you, you are like, yes, I'm finally getting validation, I'm finally getting the praise and the encouragement and the attention that I've been needing my entire life that I haven't gotten. So that disguise, the teacher was able to be in disguise as she was obviously inherently evil, but her Elphaba's red flags did not go off for that type of person because she was giving her something that she never had.
Exactly. And which is why it's so important for us as women to heal, to find, that's what is therapy is super popular now, but it's why it's important to have therapy or go through any therapeutic channels that allow you to see the shadow, because
Mhm.
that's stuff that you can't notice about yourself until someone holds up a mirror, tells you about yourself. Like, someone has to sometimes open up your eye. And I think that's also like the whole thing, when we talk about the third eye being blocked, or the third eye just not being open. Or it's the third eye gives you, when you're looking through the third eye, it gives you the ability to see yourself. And unfortunately, Elphaba didn't have that tool. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until the end that she realized, you guys can't open the grimoire. Like, I could do this. And
Yeah.
okay, now I have the power.
Right.
Now I see my power. And that's why I'm gonna move us along to the I Said What I Said segment.
Yes. Yes, please do.
um, this is why in the I Said What I Said segment, we're going to talk about the lyrics to the song, Defying Gravity.
Mm.
And, Alyssa, you can talk about a little more about what the I Said What I Said segment is as I pull up the lyrics.
Yes, I said what I said is a segment that we created for manifesting. So we talk about tools that we use to manifest. We talk about things that we've manifested. We want to share manifestation stories, success stories, obviously from ourselves and our listeners. We want to share manifestations that listeners send in, things that they want to manifest. And we'll do things like this, like break down lyrics. Obviously, you can use a song to manifest your life. Like musicians, they do it all the time. People, using music, words, songs, lyrics, like that is a manifestation tool. So that's why we're like, Defying Gravity as a manifestation song. Let's do it. Let's
Hmm.
talk about it.
Hmm. And this one
Um,
hit me, this song hit me especially deeply
mm,
because in the song they say, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. And my word for 2025, each year I have a theme, right?
mm,
Last year's theme was how good can it get? And this year's theme is happy. So every day I make it a point to
mm.
feel happy, experience what happiness is, what you pay
Mhm,
attention to, you get more of, right?
mhm,
And so I realized that I've never truly allowed myself to be happy and like not be like, okay, but what's coming up next? Or this can't really be true,
mhm,
right? You know?
mhm.
So the lyrics here, which I absolutely love, it starts off with Glinda saying, Elphaba, why couldn't you have stayed calm for once instead of flying off the handle? Which,
Mm.
as a black woman,
You don't say that to me.
like, if that is the what would the word be? I guess the trope of
Mhm,
the storyline of being a black woman. It's like, the angry black woman,
mhm,
which is what they
mhm,
painted her to be. But it's like, well, what else
mhm.
could she be?
Right,
And so
right.
Glinda goes on to say, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you've hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever, which, I mean, it's what the cause is, her going along with what everybody wants her to do. That
Mhm.
Glinda wanted her to do what everybody wants her to do because Glinda is the type of person who is also looking for external validation to
Validation.
be happy.
Mhm, mhm.
And so Elphaba goes on to sing, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. So, though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy right now. And I was like, girl.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah. Yes.
like, yes. I'm like, if
Yes.
that is not like the best clapback, like,
Yes.
yes, because she is. Glinda, like, how can you not understand why the alphabet doesn't want to go along with what these people are doing?
Exactly.
Like, she finally has, like, Elphaba has finally found her power because these people see that she has this power that she didn't even know she had. And
That she
she's
didn't
like,
even
wait,
know.
but now you want me to use this too, which we didn't touch on. They're using her power to hurt the animals. So she goes on to say, Elfie, you can still be the wizard because Elphaba was promised that she could be a wizard, the Wizard of Oz, basically, one day. You
She
can have
says you
all
can
you've ever
still be
wanted.
with the wizard.
Yes, yes. Sorry, you could still be with the wizard. Yep. But the Wizard of Oz, he did say that to her that one day this could all be yours. So the next part of the lyrics is something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second
Mm.
guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leap.
Mm.
Too late to go back to sleep. You know what we call when you find yourself, we're like, wait, I've just awakened. Are you
Yep.
awake yet?
Right. Are you awake? I hope if they're listening to this podcast, they're awake. Or
Yes, exactly.
yes, yes.
Yes, so
Yeah,
true.
that for me is like I'm through with playing the rules of someone else's game. Like
Hmm.
that can be so many things. Like what we talked about already before on this podcast, leaving a job and starting a business, or like, or just being a part of this constructed society that doesn't serve us. Like
Yes.
I'm done with this. I'm going to make my own life. I'm going to oh, I don't know if we've talked about her before, but Francesca Lee, she's a
Hmm.
famous like social media influencer. She's not just an influencer, she's a creator. She's a
Hmm.
black creative creator. She's been out for years now. She talked about it when she's just like, I know so many famous people, and she's been out for so long. She should be where Quinta Brunson is. Like she should be writing her own show. She should, writing, producing, creating. She should. I mean, she's written things. She's written songs. She's written for shows, but she doesn't have her own yet. And she's just like, I know so many famous people. Like these people are my friends, but I'm still not there where I want to be. I'm tired of waiting for somebody to give me something. I'm tired of waiting
Right.
for somebody to give me a part, give me a script, give me. I'm about to just make this on my own. I'm about to make
Hmm.
what I need for myself. And that can apply in so many different areas. Like, being somebody that has lived in many different areas, I have always looked for communities to join. I was just talking about this with my friend Daria. Shout out to Daria. And she's recently moved too. She's lived in South Florida for a very long time, and she's moved to another part of Florida, West Palm Beach. And so we were basically saying like being black moms, you know, we're the people now that need to be creating spaces for ourselves, creating the events, creating the things that we looked for when we were younger to join. We need to be the leaders in our communities and start this stuff. We can't just, oh, well, it's not here. I'm so depressed. I don't have any friends. I don't have a community. You need to create it. You need to create. So this right here, that one
Exactly.
line is like, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Yeah.
song says so much. And it
It
goes on
does.
exactly what you're saying. I'm through accepting limits because someone's saying they're so.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long
Mm.
I've been afraid, losing love, I guess I've lost.
Mm.
Well, if that's love, it comes at it comes at much too high a cost. I'm messing up the
Mm.
lyrics because I love it so much. That let me repeat that
Mhm.
one. Losing love, I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost.
Mm.
That because it's costing her herself.
Mm.
I love that part. And it's like, you know, she's found
Mm.
herself and they go on to say unlimited. That's my one of my favorite parts of the song is unlimited.
Mhm.
They say together we're unlimited. But I also feel like because she's found herself, now she realizes that she is unlimited.
Mhm.
And she realizes
Mhm.
that about herself. So she um, goes on to say, you know, uh, I'm defying gravity. They're talking in the song that says, just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity, they'll never bring us down. But of course, we know that Glinda does not go with her. Um, Elphaba learns to fly and she goes off to fly on her own because they captured Glinda and you know Glinda decided that she wasn't gonna go.
She could have
Um,
went if she wanted to.
she could have, yeah, she could have snatched her up and kept going. They could have
She
flown
could have
off.
went. And the thing
Hmm.
is Elphaba believe, like, if you look at the lyrics, I mean, if you hear the song, it's Elphaba singing. They'll never bring us down. She's the one that's saying we.
Hmm.
If that ain't a
Hmm.
black woman, I don't know who is.
Yeah, yeah,
We are
right.
always thinking of other people.
Yeah,
It's never
yeah.
I. It's always we first. We have to be completely broken down and tired of the BS for us to be like, you know what? I'm standing by myself now and it's me. It's
Right.
about me.
Girl. Yes. Yes. And then people still look at you like, what happened to her? Why is she acting like that? Why is she being so mean?
So it's time to
Yeah.
think about me now. It's about me. Yes, it is
Yes.
because it's been about we. I mean, whether it's the community, whether it's your kids, whether it's your husband. Obviously, we're not talking about denying our families, but it's a metaphor. It is
Mm-hmm.
even the whole thing with this election. And
Mm-hmm.
starting with the vice president and Kamala and going up at black women. Oh, we gonna do this. We're gonna do this for no. Now it's time to think about ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
were doing things for the collective, for the greater good, for the communities, that the system that we thought that protected us. We thought that cared about us. We thought that was for us. It was just another layer unpeeled, revealed, shown. This is not for us. This
Right.
system is not for us. And it shows. It shows.
It shows very plainly, very openly,
And
and
people were saying that. I'm sorry to cut you off. People were saying that, right? It came because this movie came out right after the election. And they were like,
mm-hmm.
this is a timely movie.
Mm-hmm. And look, divinely guided, divinely orchestrated, the way that things are going. That's why I'm said, Age of
Yes.
Aquarius, don't worry. Because it look like certain people gonna be in control, certain types of people gonna be in control. They're not. Don't worry. They're gonna feel like they're in control, but don't worry because we're
Being
flying,
lied
okay?
to, being lied to. Let's not forget, like, insert, even though this is a song that we're saying, like, right before this song in the movie, her
Mm-hmm.
professor
Mm-hmm.
shows her true colors. And I don't even, wouldn't even say turned on her. I mean, she did turn on her, but shows her true colors and makes her out to be the wicked, evil witch.
Right.
Wicked. She's the one that said the wicked witch. She stole
Mm-hmm.
our Grimory. Get this girl. She put out this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't, if who is that? Who is that in our
Right.
society right now?
Yeah. Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
There's so many parallels. It's not even funny. And
There is.
if you haven't seen this movie, please go and see it. Like we keep saying over and over again, you
Yeah.
have to watch it. But continue, Jessica. I'm sorry, I keep
Yes, yes.
interrupting.
Oh no, it's okay. It's at the very end, and that takes us to the perfect ending of this, where she says, "And if I'm," she says, "As someone told me lately, everyone deserves the chance to fly, and if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. To those who
Mm.
ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown." Renown, renown. That part confused me a little bit. But the point is that she's telling them that she's not going to be held back anymore and she's not going to be held down to carry on her message. And her message is that now she's free.
Mm.
She's free.
I'm
And
free.
yeah, and it's like it's to me that's a testament of living in your truth. What she doesn't know right now is that they set out an APB for her, and the
Yeah.
people looking for her and
Yeah.
want to hurt her. But all she knows right now is that, like, wow, like, I feel brand new. She's been reborn. She's flying free. Even if she's alone, she feels like she's always been alone. So
And if you notice, she didn't choose that.
mhm.
She didn't choose. She said, "And if I'm flying solo."
Yeah, yeah.
It was a choice that was made for her,
Hmm.
and it was a choice. No, it's a choice that she made because she could have stayed and went down there, and she chose to leave. She chose to, but she didn't make the choice to be solo
Yeah.
because she was saying we to Galinda. I'm going back to this point because it's very important.
Hmm.
She still wanted a friend.
Yeah.
And it was not until the very end where she's just like, you know what? All right, I can do this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Hmm.
Like I'm trying. I'm risking my safety and my life trying for you to come with me and you're not?
Right.
All right, I guess I'm doing it. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free.
Hmm. That's what brought me to tears at the movies because, I'm
Mhm.
sitting there and I'm watching her. I'm like, I really hope she gets away. Oh my gosh, because it's such an active part of the movie. And when
Mhm.
she's standing or not standing, excuse me, flying up there with the broom, and even the way that they showed how the broom came about, like she just wanted to be able to levitate. She wanted to be able to fly. She didn't know she
Mhm.
was going to get a broom. Right? She didn't know she was gonna get the hat. She didn't know
No.
she was gonna get the broom. She didn't know she was gonna have
Yeah.
a cape. Glinda gave her the cape. Like she
Yes.
made none of this herself. And now she's
Mm.
like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. And again, okay, now this last part, I guess I am going by myself. And it's like we watched the birth of this very strong woman who now has finally is able to identify and see herself.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's I guess that's why the video where I'm like, no, I want her to have a happy ending.
Mhm.
But the story is the fact that she's has gone through all of this and sees herself, and it's like what I think the message to all of us is: see yourself, look in the mirror,
Mhm.
find yourself, and fly. We need to fly. We can be
Mhm.
free,
Mhm.
free of what other people say about us, free of even the negative things, like what other people say about us, whether it's good or bad. Like see you for who you are, see yourself for
Mhm.
who you are, the way that you want to be,
Mhm.
and go and just be you.
Mhm.
So I love that.
Yeah, that reminds me of a poem. I know we need to move on, but that reminds me, it's my favorite poem, and people that know me very well know that I say this poem at very, like the poem comes into my mind at very important times in my life. I discovered it years and years and years and years ago, and I used to say it in my therapy sessions. I say it talking in regular conversation, and it's called "What If." And it's popular. It's a very small poem. That's why I'm going to read it really quick. It's called "What If I Fly" by Aaron Hansen. There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?
Right. I love
Oh my gosh. I don't know why that poem like makes me so emotional. Like,
it's just like the end of the movie. It's just like I'm
yes.
going to take this leap. I'm going to make this decision. I don't know where it's going to lead me, and that
Mhm.
is incredibly terrifying.
Mhm.
It is
Mhm.
terrifying.
Well, and it's
And
it's the whole fear. It's the fear that
mhm,
you have to go and take the leap, and you don't think like, you know, when you're doing something, the focus is, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? But it's just like, what if you fly?
yes, that
What if you
part.
succeed? It's not saying that you're not going to have any problems,
Hmm.
but it's
Hmm.
saying, what if you fly?
Yeah.
What
What
if
if it
you
actually
actually,
works
when
out?
you do start your podcast, you soar? What if
Right.
you blow up? What if you do get
Hmm.
all the sponsorship deals and get picked up on a network and get all, you see, I'm manifesting during our manifestation segment.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
What if
it
you
gives you
do
room to
get,
breathe.
a 6 or 7 figure deal?
Hmm.
Not, oh, what if people don't like me? What if people don't like what I have to say?
Ooh.
What if people stop talking about me? What if people don't follow me? What if people don't like how we look? What if people don't like my voice? What if the comments are too mean? All of that other what if, but what if you freaking fly?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
did. She flew.
Yeah,
She
I want to quickly add, because I know we've spent quite some time on this segment, but I
Yeah.
think it's important also. I'm going to share how I use the songs, right, to manifest or use them. I call them pillars. You use them as a pillar of, um, what am I going to lean on? Sort of like how you can lean on different Bible verses, like, okay, have it replaying in my head. you that poem that you have would be a pillar for you.
Mhm.
I've used the songs as one of my pillars. I shared with you. I now have it as my ringtone because it reminds me, am I happy now? Hello? Or right now at this moment while your phone is ringing, are you doing something that makes you happy? Are you flying? Do you feel unlimited at this moment? Like it makes
Mm.
me check myself so that I
Mhm.
can live a life each and every by the hour that I feel content with, because it is way too easy. It is way too easy to get caught up in things and allow those things to bring you down so much so that you won't even realize it.
Mm.
My thing is to get to a point where my I'm so sensitive to my own positive energy, like in my own positive energy, that as soon as I approach something or sense something that can cause a dip, I'm like, oh, okay, hold it. I recognize what that is because the way
Right.
that you get brought down and have a
Right.
hard time with manifesting or allowing yourself to receive positive things is by not realizing that you have been playing with all these negative things. You
Right.
got all this stuff, you know? So
Right. You're
that
absolutely
is
right. You're
that's
absolutely
how I'm
right.
using the song.
Yeah, that is good. Yes, can definitely use this pillar as a the song or the poem as a pillar. So we're gonna move
Mhm.
right along to I got a nerve for that. This segment
I
is where
got a
we
nerve for that.
highlight herbs that we've discovered, aligned with, want to share. We're also learning as we're sharing. We are not experts in any way. So please, if you have any questions about herbs or wanting to use them, seek the help of a professional. We are learning still. We hope to soon be experienced professionals one day, but any medical advice that we're not giving medical advice either. Anything medical, please seek the help of your medical providers. That's just a disclaimer for this segment. But of course, this whole episode is wicked themed. So we wanted to highlight the beautiful herb of rosemary. Do I have rosemary behind me? I think I do. Is that?
It looks like it.
I think it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
if
looks
it's
like it. I
not, we're
can't
gonna
see
have to
it
cut this
clearly.
part out. Let me see. Yeah, it is.
Yay.
Rosemary right here. This is what it looks like.
Perfect.
This is a whole thing of herbs behind me.
Hmm.
All of this is herbs, but this is rosemary.
I love
Um,
that.
the Latin name for rosemary is Salvia rosemarinus officinalis. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a part of the Lamatia. I hope
Hmm.
that's how you say it, Lamatia family. Um, and it is a fragrant herb. It's very fragrant, just like you can smell its properties just by handling it. Just if you've ever come in contact with it, it's a common, obviously, household cooking seasoning. So you can smell it right away, but just the fresh herb of rosemary, it smells very good. But it has a lot of benefits that's been researched. As a hair growth or oil. It can aid in hair growth. You can infuse it in a carrier oil like olive oil or castor oil, and you can put it in your hair, and it'll make your hair grow. It's also I've seen it in hair growth vitamins too. I don't know if you have,
Mm.
Jessica, but I've seen it in vitamins. It,
Mm.
according to the spiritual herbalism book from by Karen Rose, she references it as a plant of protection. She makes a spray with it and sprays her shop, um, just as protection and for cleaning. It is a plant of the sun and it's fire. We know
Mm.
fire is the element of the sun, so it brightens the mind, and she also says that it can ease depression.
Mm.
Because it is a plant of the sun, it invigorates your nervous system. And so it can be used to treat peripheral circulation. If you have people that have like poor circulation in their hands and their feet, You can use a tonic, make a tonic out of it and drink it, and
Wow.
assuming that it can open up your blood vessels and
Hmm.
get some circulation going.
Hmm.
She also says that it aids in memory loss and tension headaches. We were just talking about that earlier this morning, Jessica. There's a
Yeah.
herb that relieves tension headaches is rosemary. I'm sure as an elixir or one of your extracts, your herbal extracts. Um Obviously, like we said, to season food. And one of the things about rosemary that I like about it is that because it is so commonly readily available, like when you buy like herb growing kits or even go to the store, like it's one of the fresh herbs that they sell in the grocery store, like it's not intimidating.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um it's easily recognized, and I wonder if that's because it's a European herb. Hmm.
Hmm.
It's not intimidating, yet it has so many benefits. So you can discover so many things about it, I feel like. Um but so yeah. But it goes with the episode because um it goes with, because it is a plant of the sun, it goes with the heart chakra. And the
Oh,
heart chakra,
nice.
as you said earlier, is green. So um Karen, she has several recipes in the book that reference healing the heart. She specifically says that it is used to for grief and loss, because it is a heart
Oh,
opener.
nice.
People
Okay.
use it for grief and loss. And she says that because it's not, because so she's Afro-Caribbean. She says
Hmm.
she's asked other people how their ancestors have used it, because she's not as familiar with it, obviously, because it's not a Caribbean plant, so the same thing that we've
Yeah.
said. um so she's learned from other people how to use it, but she has uses it to uplift the spirit and through grief and loss. And she has heart healing
Hmm.
syrup that she a recipe for heart healing syrup, the fourth heart chakra oil. So she
Ooh.
makes a oil using other things. But rosemary is like the main ingredient, the most used ingredient in this recipe. And she says it's the fourth chakra heart oil is great for self-love, compassion work, and grief and loss, particularly after heartbreaks. It helps get us back in touch with a hardened or closed off heart. So if you need
Wow.
to open up your heart chakra, you can use rosemary. She has a stress-free tea with hawthorn berries, chamomile, rose, linden flowers, but rosemary is in abundance in this stress-free tea because it relaxes your nerves,
Hmm.
your circulatory system, and tension. So
Wow.
yeah, I thought this was a really good one because it has, like I said, it's a common herb that we can easily access, and you can do so many things with it.
Hmm.
So
I
that
love
was
I love Empress Karen Rose, and so if you're not following her, go follow her. She's on Instagram and she does amazing videos and has a beautiful website with so many different resources. Just Google her,
mhm,
Empress Karen Rose. I recommend people try rosemary as a tea, like add it into, make blend it with other herbs and ingest it in that way. And you can see it's a bit of a different experience. And it's one thing that we mentioned earlier before, Alyssa, that we wanted to make sure everyone knows is that the way that you prepare an herb is going to have a different effect on the body.
mhm,
An herb prepared in water does one thing. An herb prepared as an extract in alcohol does one thing. An herb prepared in honey does another. It just depends. Even rosemary essential oil does something totally different.
mhm,
So
mhm,
same plant, but it has different effects and it's different forms.
mhm. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yes, you're absolutely right, and I want people to pay attention to when I mention certain things, and when we say specific preparations is for a reason, because you do have to be very specific. You can't drink rosemary tea and expect for your hair to grow. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, but it has to be infused in an oil, and you have to put it on your scalp or put it on your
Hmm.
hair for your hair to grow.
Yeah.
The same thing with like a tonic or a syrup. Um,
Hmm.
it has to be prepared in different ways. A tonic and syrups and stuff, those are prepared differently than just a tea that you drink. So yeah, Jessica's
Yeah.
absolutely right, and we wanted to make sure we highlight that. Um,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
just,
Yes.
when you are, if you decide to, you know, align with rosemary, use rosemary, be curious. Use Chat GPT, use Google, go and get a book off of Amazon about how to use certain herbs and what to use it for.
Hmm.
This segment is just a quick little blurb. It's meant to just open you up and expose you to share. I mean, even if you have used it or, you know worked with the plant before, it's just our way of introducing what we are doing, what we are using in our daily lives. So we're happy that it could
Yeah.
go with the theme. I'm so happy you said heart chakra earlier, because I was like, yes, we're definitely in alignment, because it's a herb of the heart chakra.
Wow.
Green.
And I didn't know that at the time.
So
Wow.
we were trying to think, where this is a behind the scenes share right now. We were trying to plan for this episode, and we were trying to figure out what herb we're going to use, and Jessica has the Anima Mundi herb deck. Um
Hmm.
and so she just, put it on. Her instinct said, let's use the herb deck. Let's see what herb comes out. And Spirit gave us rosemary, and it all
Yes.
aligned.
It does. I was like, oh, I'm kind of drinking that today and yesterday.
Well, and you had said, I remember you said a couple. You're like, I need to bring out my rosemary and black tea. Like, you were like, I need to
Hmm.
start drinking that again. I was drinking it during COVID. Like, you told me that last week, or I don't even know when you
Hmm.
said that. But yeah, witchy shit. This is our segment where we talk about all things witches, things that are
Hmm.
interesting to us. It can be light-hearted, or it can be a little bit more heavy. But it's still going on the theme of Wicked. We wanted to talk about several witchy things. Obviously, the whole movie is called Wicked. It's about a witch. So this whole episode, it
Hmm.
can be witchy shit. But specifically for
Right.
this segment, we wanted to point out the witchy things that we liked in the movie. The first being the Grimmery. It's Jessica said they make up words. They made up the word Grimmery. So tell us about
Yeah.
that, Jessica.
Yes, it was so funny. So the grimoire, which is really called a grimoire in real life, outside of Wicked, and the grimoire is where you would write down your spells and other things like that. It's a book where you have your connection. I'm looking down right now trying to see if I have mine close by so I can show it on camera for the YouTubers. Um, but it's a book that looks like some people, I feel like it depends on how witchy the person is. For some people, the book may look like the spell book from Hocus Pocus with the eye on it. They sell it
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
For others, it may be just a regular notebook or a journal.
Mm.
But it's where you write down your spells. It's where you write down, if you someone who practices divination. It's for me. It's where I write down, like, if I have to. Some people scribe, like while they're talking to the angelic realm, and they just start writing stuff down, not really knowing what they're writing.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
for me, it's instead of speaking out to them, I would write out to them or write out my appreciation for
Mhm.
God, for the heavenly realm. Um, and it's funny because I told you earlier, I was like, it's really funny because usually if you have a grimoire, you got an altar. And I'm like, I'm over here half and stuff. Like, I have my grimoire. And the only reason why I have it, because I feel like that's the most witchiest thing you can have, like a spell book. The only reason why I have it is because I was studying this book by what is her name? Corinne Grillo. She's an author and she has several books, but one of them is called Angel Wealth Magic, and it's where the whole point of the book is to allow yourself to align yourself with financial abundance, to
Mhm.
allow that. And so I personally have so many wounds, like ancestral wounds, when it comes to allowing abundance to flow financially,
Mhm.
that, like, I've been really working with God on, like, God has just been showing me all these different things to do, like, to a lot, to open myself, like break you open that heart chakra, like polish up that third eye, okay, so you can see all the money wounds you got, and allow my love to pour in. And so
Mhm.
that's why I have my grimoire, which is actually, the front of it is made of leaves, actual leaves, and the paper is, I don't want to call it papyrus, but it's like it's not regular paper. It's like pressed leaves, like raw brown
Yeah.
paper,
Yeah.
and it's like threaded together. It has a little twig on the front. It's super cute. But and so in the movie, the grimoire opens for her. If you remember, like in the
Mhm.
movie Hocus Pocus, it took the witches to be able to like run their fingers down it and like open it up,
Yeah.
and they had to say something to open it up.
Yeah.
And for Elphaba, it just went, "Oh, hey, girl. Oh, here are the words that you're looking for."
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she's the
Well,
one
and
who controls it.
they had one in that other book. Well, they had several in that other, not the other book, the other show that we watched on Netflix, the Discovery of Witches.
Oh, really? Oh,
Remember at the
yes.
beginning,
Yes, I
she's the
remember now.
only one
I
that can call.
forgot.
What book was that called? Was it the
I
Book of
don't
Life?
remember.
Was it the Book of Life?
Something like that.
I
Something
don't. Maybe
like
I'm
that.
cross referencing, but it was
I'm gonna
the
look at it.
only the
Look it
book
up.
could not be called out of the library, and she was the person that was able to call it out. Like
Book of
it was
Life.
like missing, and until
Hmm.
she the specific character, she's a witch. She goes to the library and she didn't even know. She's just like, "Oh, I want to check this book out." And the person goes and the book is there and she can take it out and she opens the book and the book just like has all this like secret writing on it and it just like
Yes.
goes all into her. Yeah, that show is a good show. It's a good show. That's
Yeah.
my reference of, because when Jessica was like, I didn't even know it was a thing. Jessica was like, yeah, it's supposed to be. I'm like, what is a grimoire? I don't know what that is. I'm like, a
Hmm.
journal or something. But when she explained it to me, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that all makes sense now. I had never heard of that. Never heard of a grimoire.
Yeah. It's like your
But
blessed, your blessed book.
yes, but another witchy thing is the fact that the animals can talk.
Hmm.
That is like, oh
And
my
that they
gosh,
had
like
wisdom to
people,
share.
they have wisdom to share. And the reason why she was so connected to the animals because her midwife Dulce bear. I'm calling it a midwife because the bear was literally there and she had a black lady's voice. The bear was there when she
Mhm.
was born. Like she was the person that, birthed the baby and handed it over. And there was a wolf standing there. I think those two animals are very significant to witches,
Mm.
wolves and bears, because bears
Mhm.
are very mothering and they're very strong, and then obviously wolves. Hello, Twilight. But
Yeah.
the people, they were, not only could they talk, they had roles in society. Like
Yes.
the professor was a goat,
Mhm.
like wise mountain goat. I want to say that he was. I don't know if he was or not, but like in the fact that they were trying to ban animals and they said like, remember when the new professor came when they arrested the goat and then the new professor showed up and they're like, this is a cage, and they had the baby lion cub in the cage, and he was just like, we're thinking that if we cage animals from the very beginning that they will never learn to talk. I'm like,
But like, why are you trying to detain, capture, control everything that has power? Why are you so
right,
afraid of the power? What's going
right,
on?
girl, when I saw that I was like, so dumb. In my mind, I'm like, Can animals talk at what point?
I
Did
know,
humans
right?
like why am I trying to relate this to real life? I'm like, did we cause animals not to be able to talk?
They're smart. They have intelligence. They do have
They have an
intelligence that we don't
intelligence.
have.
They do. They do.
Hmm.
They do have an intelligence. They do. They are beings. They're living beings. But like that just puts me back to Adam and Eve days when they were walking around the garden, even with the animals.
Hmm.
Like they lived in harmony with that, there wasn't fear. That's a whole nother aspect that like you can see how they created a sense of fear.
Yeah.
Like animals were not to be feared. But
Yeah.
then, like, by capturing all of them and putting them in cages, that's a constructed idea of like, these are things that we need to fear. For what?
And because the animal doesn't know how to behave in that environment, it looks scary because it's going crazy.
Mhm. That makes me so
Which,
sad. But that's
hmm.
why she was so sensitive to animals because Dulce Bear raised her.
Mm. And I did not know
And
that.
yeah,
I missed
Dulce
that
Bear
part of the
raised
movie.
her. I know. That was
Wow.
like, oh my goodness, that made me sad. Like when they arrested the professor and he tried to
In front
tell
of
him, like,
everybody, like he did something
yeah,
wrong.
right. He was trying to the fact that he was trying to like, look, this is unprecedented times. They're arresting professors. I mean, obviously that was foreshadowing, but it's just like, dang, did he have to get arrested though? Like, did they have to capture him? Like,
Hmm.
wow. I just
He
can't
was
believe they didn't.
already he was already losing his ability to speak, and I do think they didn't talk about why the animals are losing their ability to speak in part one. I do think they're going to talk about it in part two, but him losing his ability to speak, I think, has a lot to do with whatever they were doing. They were
Oh,
doing
when he was
something.
stuttering, when he couldn't say Galinda.
The reason why Glinda made her name Glinda. Hmm.
Oh, I thought it was just because he was a goat. But maybe that no, they're very intelligent
It's
beings at
because
that
he
point.
that was the sign that he was going to end up losing his speech.
Oh, oh wow.
So he's like, well, it's just because I'm an animal, but no, it's more than that. He like was losing his ability to form words,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why when they had that meeting in the movie, Elphaba actually walks into the other animals having a meeting at that professor's house, at the goat's house, and he ended up one of them ended up saying, oh, I'm going to just go ahead and leave. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this place before I lose my ability to speak.
Oh, okay. See, I need to go back and see that part. I need to go back and see that. I didn't see.
Yeah, so when
So
they came
she
in to get him, I thought, I'm waiting the whole movie. I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna lose his ability to speak. He's gonna lose it first because he can't say a certain name. And but then for them to come in and then just treat him like a criminal
I
when he
know, and
didn't
then
do
the
nothing
teacher,
wrong.
because in my mind, I'm like, okay, and so this is another parallel. He was foreshadowing, like the whole time he was like, "This is what they're doing." Like you could see. I just relate this to we're watching the news about a war that's going on in another part of the world. Like this is what they're doing to people, this is
Hmm.
what they're doing to women. This is what they're doing to children in this part of the world. Like this is unprecedented times. This has never happened before. Look, this could possibly happen to us. It's coming. We got to organize. We got to think of a plan. Like let's bring awareness to this. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, he's protected. He's a professor. Like they're not gonna. His school is gonna
Yes.
be protecting him. The other
Yes.
professors are gonna rally around him. I'm like, they're not gonna let that
Same.
happen to him. And that they didn't protect him.
Hmm.
So it's like we think like because we're removed from what's going on somewhere else, like that's not gonna happen over here. Like we're a sophisticated society. I mean, obviously they are too, but
Hmm.
you just think like because you live in America, because we're in this system that cares about us, that stuff is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was oh my
But you're different.
gosh.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. But the last point that we want to make that I want to make. And we're gonna wrap up because this is an extremely long episode, and we need to probably cut some part out. But we talking about how Elphaba, the entire movie, wants to go to Emerald City. She
Mm-hmm.
has a pull. And her whole reasoning for going is because she wants to go to the wizard to ask him to change her skin.
Mm-hmm.
She knew she had to go to Emerald City to to do something. It's like, you know how when you really want something to happen and then when you get there you're like, "Oh, wait, this is not what I meant." Like, this
Right.
is not
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted. I was supposed to go for you to ask me to change. And then she obviously realizes he has no power anyway. So why was I wishing for this man to change my skin when he can't even do it? But the
Mm-hmm.
thing that blew my mind is, if that is her dad, he's the reason why she's green in the first place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you are wishing to go to a place, to go to a man to change your skin color, and he is the reason why you're green.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know that.
No. He acted like he didn't know that. And he acted like, which he probably didn't, because he wasn't there for the birth, right?
No, he
Did
wasn't
she
there.
have? Okay.
No.
And what is it? He just seemed to be aloof. Just
Well, it's like, does he know? Because he's referencing, like, "Oh, I always wanted a child. You can live here." Like, kind of like, "I'm your dad." Obviously, that's like grooming. Like, why would you want young? That's what I was telling them. I'm like, why would you want two young girls to stay in your mansion? If that's not Hugh Hefner, I don't know
yes.
who is. Or
Yes.
Diddy. Or Diddy. "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
come and live with me and let me control you. Let me take all
Mm-hmm.
your power and and make it seem
Mm-hmm.
like it's me with the power."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
oh my goodness, this movie, it was really good. Can't you tell we really got into it?
But look, hey, we did a good job, okay? Because the movie was almost 3 hours long. All right. We were able to get in a lot of stuff in an
Yeah.
hour, almost an hour and a half. It's probably not an
Yes.
hour and a half by the time that you listen to this, but right now we're going for pretty long, but you know,
Yes, yes,
it
but
was enjoyable.
this was enjoyable. I'm glad we were able to finally watch it and do a think piece on it and share it on the podcast. And I'm sure we're gonna watch it again and then think of more stuff. And that's what we want you guys to do, is not just, I mean, obviously you're watching a movie for entertainment purposes, but there's always multiple layers, and there's reasons we're finding out now. There's reasons why you're called and you want to watch certain movies,
Hmm.
because it is something within you that needs to be unlocked. So we're so happy that you have joined us to listen to this episode. We want you, if you're not already, to follow us on social media at Keep Expecting Miracles Pod. That's Instagram and TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel. Hey, this is a video component as well at Keep Expecting Miracles. Email us your manifestations, keepexpectingmiracles@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, rate and review us. You can listen to us on any of your devices: Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Um, I'm gonna say Hulu again.
One
Amazon,
day.
was it Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon.
Amazon,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, Audible.
Audible. Amazon
Hmm.
and Audible. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys. Until next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.